But
Okay, good evening and welcome to the June 11, 2019 Truckee Town Council meeting. Thank you all for coming. Great to see a wonderful crowd here tonight. So we're going to start off this evening with our roll call.
Yes, Councilmember Klostad.
Here.
Vice Mayor Goodman.
here,
Mayor Turman.
Here.
Councilmember Abrams.
Here.
And I will note that Councilmember Pallavi is absent this evening.
Okay, and at this point, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I would like to call on Missy Moeller and the entire Green team here today to lead us in the pledge. Thank you very much. Great job. Okay, before we get started with our presentations this evening and the full agenda, we always have an opportunity for public comment for anything that is not on the agenda tonight. So if there's any member of the public who has anything they'd like to say to the council, to the public in general, please step forward. You'll have 3 minutes. Okay. Seeing no public comment, I'm going to ask if there's any council comment.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a public comment, a big life announcement that is time to make publicly. So over the past 6 months, I've been spending a lot of time thinking about my career and the change that I can help out with in the world. And thanks to many great conversations with dozens of friends and mentors, coaches, and wise souls, of which there are many in this town, I've come to see what's next for me. So just a little bit of context here, because I think it is helpful. I spent a lot of time and energy this winter exploring a campaign to run for a state assembly seat on the assumption that our Representative Brian Dahle might win his election and there would be a special election for that vacancy. And it was through that process of kind of trying to envision myself in that role and align around what it would take that I came to a bigger realization, I guess. So it's very clear to me that I want to, spend my life working on building better communities, places that support each and every person to lead full lives, a really rich social fabric, places where you can find joy in your neighborhoods, places that allow us to live without being so dependent on automobiles, and where it's easy to borrow a kayak from a neighbor, or not everyone has to own their own snowblowers, those sorts of things. And what I've come to find in my work here over the last several years is those places take leadership to happen, and to make this a possibility for everyone rather than just a lucky few. We need political leadership at many levels beyond Truckee, and beyond the Truckee Town Council, hence why I was interested in exploring further. But it's also true that running a campaign for a higher office in this part of the state would be a difficult proposition for me for other reasons. And while it might be useful to run a campaign that you don't think you can win, when I zoomed out to the larger sort of 10-year strategy, I began to feel like I didn't quite have the options in front of me that I wanted. And so I think when we're feeling stuck, it's often helpful to consider what the assumptions are that we're making that lead us to feel stuck. And one such assumption was that I will always be based here in Truckee. And when I sort of did that thought experiment of what would it look like if I wasn't based here, I started seeing a lot of possibilities open up to build my career and build better communities and engage in the work that I want to do. So it's a pretty wild and big decision. It's part intellectual, part emotional, part just timing and gut. I've been turning this around and checking with people and checking with myself for about 2 months now, and given this a lot of thought. And so I'll get to it. This fall, I am moving to Los Angeles. And I'm looking forward to work at the intersection of urban planning and sustainability, looking to find the smartest people doing good work on that and really help out with a larger effort of how we build better communities, how we meet our climate change goals, how we reduce emissions from driving, of which Los Angeles has quite a bit. There's a lot of work to do. There's also a personal aspect of this move. My amazing partner, Daria, just graduated with her master's in fine arts in playwriting, and she's connected with an incredible management team in Hollywood that is working on getting screenwriting gigs, and we're both really excited to see how her career develops. There is kind of only one place in this country, at least, that you can really pursue that career. In the 2 years of our long-distance relationship, it's become very clear that it's better when we are together in the same place. And we're really excited to build a life together that honors both of our talents and our passions. So in closing, I'll just say that I feel incredibly good and proud of the work that I've been a part of and contributed to here over the last 5 years. I think that we have an incredible community, and that's reflected in the election of, our two newest council members and our amazing existing council. Our really vibrant general plan process is cruising along, and certainly giving staff plenty of work to help turn all of this energy and vision into policies and plans. So much appreciated. I'll be resigning from my position on council in the middle of August. And I believe at that point, although we'll check with the details, but council will be tasked with naming a replacement to fill the seat for the rest of, until the next election, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But in the other projects here, that I've been involved in, the Truckee Roundhouse Makerspace is an incredible, at least strong position with a good team and a good, amazing executive director. The Truckee Co-Housing Project, which is such a model of those sorts of communities, is also in a great place. And I actually intend to hopefully follow through on Daria and I purchasing one of those units and hopefully maintaining some kind of a foothold and roots here. So this is certainly not a goodbye for good, but rather a changing of my relationship with this place. Truckee has been Truckee and serving the community in this way has been absolutely the highlight and joy of my life so far. And it is with incredible amount of gratitude that I just want to say thank you for all this and your understanding. And I'll be around. I'll be answering questions. Every intention of leaving all of these things that I'm involved in much better shape than I found them, if I can. So I think that was a little longer than 3 minutes. Thank you. And I felt good to give that a little bit more of a story. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Morgan. I don't think any of us up here, or probably anyone in the room, is prepared to say goodbye right now. I don't think that's what we want to do. But really, really thank you for sharing that with us, and look forward to the next 60 days that we have with you before your change, and certainly, it's going to be a big change for us and a big loss for us as well. So, but we wish you well with your future. Again, we're not saying goodbye right now, but more to come. Thank you. Any other public comment before we close public comment? Okay, so we will close public comment and move on to presentations. We have a couple of presentations this evening. Our first one is the introduction of new staff members. Bron Coe, police administrative technician, and Cameron Cash, administrative intern. So I think, Chief, you're going to lead off?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd love to. We're very fortunate to have found Braun. She's my new executive assistant, which is a pivotal position to keep me out of trouble. And she's already fell into that role well. Braun was born in South Africa, but grew up in Australia. She's along the Gold Coast around the Surfers Paradise area. Braun is now married to a local Truckee resident. That's how she found her way to Truckee. Ryan Roberts, he's a professional scuba diver, and they both live in Reno together. Braun attended Bond University on the Gold Coast of Australia. She received her Bachelor's of Social Science degree in criminology at the age of 19. Worked as a child safety officer for the Queensland State Government of Australia Department of Communities Child Safety Disability Services. That's a very Australian way of saying Child Protective Services in U.S. terms. Braun has lived abroad, working in New Zealand, Canada, Thailand, and now in the U.S. as a permanent resident. She's also traveled extensively and visited many other places for fun and exploration, including Europe and South America. She estimates she's been in about 15 different countries. Braun loves hiking, scuba diving, snowboarding, and is a qualified yoga instructor. So we're very fortunate to have her, and a very interesting young lady to talk to.
Thank you, Chief, and welcome, Braun. Braun's not here this evening?
No, I'm sorry. She had a conflict and wasn't able to make the meeting tonight.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be sure to welcome her when we see her in person next. And Cameron Cash, Judy, are you making that or Kim?
I will.
Kim will.
Mayor
Okay.
Chairman, thank you very much.
Sure.
So I'm pleased to introduce Cameron Cash. Cameron is our intern in administrative services. He's been working with us about a week and a half now. He's from Houston, Texas. He currently attends Claremont McKenna College, and he's going to be a senior next year, so entering his last year at CMC. He's an economics and government dual major, which is a perfect dual major, economics/accounting in the CMC parlance, and so that's great for working in our department. And he also plays Division III baseball for the college. He's a pitcher. He claims he can't hit, but I hear that he's already been, within the first hour he showed up in our office, recruited to at least 2 softball teams. I had to explain that wasn't a job requirement. He says he's excited to work for the town because he thinks his job helps combine both of his majors, and he's also living on his own for his very first time, and he thinks that experience will be really valuable for him moving forward. And he's happy to be able to continue the line of interns from Claremont McKenna College. I think he's our 4th CMC intern. My daughter went there. I don't know how all that happened, but and we're looking forward to working with Cameron all summer. So welcome.
Thank you, Kim, and welcome, Cameron. How long are you going to be with us?
All summer.
All summer. Okay, great. And we always give folks who are introduced an opportunity to say a few words if you want to. You don't have to. Just you're good. Okay. All right. We'll see you out on the softball field sometime. All right. Thank you, and welcome again. Okay. With that, we're going to move on to item 5.2, a presentation by the Green Team. Now, where's the Green Team here? Okay, there you guys are. All right. Yeah. So this is a student sustainability effort, wastewater and climate change by the Sierra Watershed Education Partnership, otherwise known as SWEP, and the Green Team students. So we'll let you take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Town Council, Mayor Tierman, and Morgan. Wow. Personally, it's a big hit for all of us, but I wish you the best, okay? And it takes guts to make big moves like that, so we're with you from here, okay? My name is Missy Moeller. I'm with Sierra Watershed Education Partnerships. We work to promote stewardship. And we're very grateful for the partnership with the town of Truckee in that process. I'm super proud to have a group of students from all different schools presenting today to talk a little bit about what they do, their work, its meaning, some results, and the power behind it all. So thank you so much for allowing us to present.
Hello, my name is Annika, and I am a Green Team member from Sierra Expeditionary Learning School. Today's presentation is going to be from all of SWEP's sustainability clubs, including our elementary school Green Teams. middle school eco action clubs, and high school enviolution clubs.
Hi, my name is Avery. And I'm Greta. We are Sierra Expeditionary Learning School Green Team members. We are here because we believe that climate change is real. We are the last generation that can prevent irreparable damage to our planet.
We thank you for supporting. We want to thank you for supporting students to have a voice and take action towards this serious issue.
I'm Adina from Kings Beach Elementary Green Team. The goal of our Sustainability Club is to have a student-led problem solving that combats climate change. Addressing these serious issues within our school and community helps us contribute to real-world solutions.
Hi, I am Daisy. I am a Green Team member at Donner Trail Elementary. As you know, California has greenhouse gas emission goals that requires big steps towards conserving waste, water, and energy. Learning about these goals and working with our peers and school sites allows us to implement valuable and meaningful improvements.
Hi, I'm Annie from Kings Beach Elementary. This year, Eco Action Club students hosted an energy conservation campaign. Each Friday, classrooms were invited to turn off their lights for 1 hour. The goal was to raise awareness of energy use on campus and to promote energy conservation practices. Tonight, our Eco Action Club is receiving an award from the McConkey Foundation for their energy conservation efforts.
Hi, I'm Una from Sierra Expeditionary Learning School's Green Team. During the energy campaign, we used Tahoe Truckee Unified School District's energy dashboard to track energy use. We saw 16% energy decrease during our initial hour. Imagine what savings we will see when we do a Lights Out campaign across the district next year.
Hello, my name is Griffin from Kings Beach Elementary.
And I'm Kyla from Sierra Expeditionary Learning School.
Sustainability Club members are working to teach everyone about water conservation. Connecting students to local water issues continues to create conversation and outreach as well as advocacy for years to come. Our Green Team assisted classes in making storm drain art and a demonstration shed with a green roof and a habitat wall.
At the Truckee Roundhouse, students from 4 schools worked together in creating a sculpture that resides in the new west wing of at Truckee High. We love creating environmental messages in our art and feel that it speaks volumes.
Hi, I'm Sage from the Cells Green Team. Our class worked recently with the Town of Truckee and Truckee River Watershed Council with a stewardship project to clean up 114 pounds of trash at the historic MacGyver Dairy. We feel empowered when we are involved in helping.
Hi, I am Sierra from the Cells Green Team. We like learning from local professionals on how we can make a difference in our hometown.
Hi, I'm Ava, and I go to Glenshire Elementary. Recycling collection is constantly changing. Club members work to educate their school sites on how best to manage these changes and implement solutions. The difference between doing it right and wrong can be costly. If we can help reduce costs while reducing carbon and address real-world challenges that help our region, we have true success.
Hi, I'm Lila, and I go to Glenshire Elementary. With our smart sorting bins, we partner with companies like TerraCycle to divert traditionally non-recyclable items like chip bags, fruit squeezers, and juice pouches, a type of everyday lunch waste that would otherwise sit in the landfill for hundreds of years.
Hi, I'm Ember. I go to Glenshire Elementary. Starting on Jan 1st, 2019, California Assembly Bill 1826 began requiring that all businesses, including schools, that generate 4 cubic square yards or more of waste per week begin separating organic waste for recycling services. TTUSD kitchens began sorting organic waste into carts. Soon we'll be separating food waste into cafeterias. We learned that in one single day, TTUSD elementary schools can throw away as much as 132 pounds of food. During Zero Waste Week audits on our campuses, we now have a goal of eliminating single-use disposables like cracker and ketchup packets. These are unnecessary and produce extra waste.
Hi, I'm Gavin from Glenshire Elementary. The town of Truckee is supporting Truckee schools in starting to separate organic waste in our school cafeterias. Our clubs hope to help everyone through this important transition of how we throw away and sort our trash properly. We hope to do what is better for California while keeping our schools from earning any penalties.
Hi, I am Mason Brown from the Glenshire Elementary Green Team. We would like you to know that TTUSD high school clubs have followed your lead and created their own climate resolutions. These resolutions are being shared with the U.S. Congress this week in Washington, D.C., and we have local TTUSD students attending. Thank you, Town Council, for being such a good role model on how to look out for our community and future, but especially for supporting us and to teach our community about waste and climate change.
And finally, we'd like to put a nod and a big thank to all of our Sustainability Club sponsors. It takes a village, really, to support these efforts and all that we're doing at these schools, and we wouldn't be here without the town of Truckee, that's for sure. I think we've got a few possibilities to fill your seat, as you've seen, Morgan. Hardworking advocates. We had planned on having middle schoolers here, but they're receiving an award, as you heard, tonight over at North Tahoe for their efforts. And we have high school kids in DC that just texted me before working for climate change. So we're here locally working and around the region and clear in DC. So super proud of our efforts, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you. Wow, thank you so much, Green Team. That was super impressive. You guys worked really, really hard on all of that. And I think the message that you're bringing to our council and to our community is a message that we all need to hear, listen to, and act on. I think, as you all know, we are seeing climate change happening right now. It's everywhere. And so thank you so much for your hard work. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, our future in so many ways is you're sitting right here. So really appreciate it. And thank you as well to the parents who will help support this effort as well. So I'd like to open this up for council questions or comments. And then after that, we'll also open it up for public comment.
I can't resist. Okay, so first of all, I love the dashboards. Thanks for flashing those up there. And Missy, the very first Green Team at Truckee Elementary, based on a Shane McConkey Foundation donation, was that 2009 or 2010?
Well, I know the first Envivolution Club was at least 12 years ago.
Okay.
And then...
So this must have been...
quite a few, maybe 4 years later.
Yeah, so I just want to point that out because this is a long time brewing. it really did start with the Envirolution Club doing a competition for Squaw Valley Ski Pass, and that evolved into a very small half a dozen or a dozen kid green team at Truckee Elementary. And once the other sites started seeing the enthusiasm and the impact of that small green team, they started asking for it. And now we have one at every single school site in the district. And it just makes me so proud to see this going and flourishing and all that you are accomplishing. These pictures are priceless in seeing all that you can accomplish in these clubs in our community and the impact that it has on the rest of the region. So thank you for your work and your efforts, and thank the parents, because I know it takes a lot to support all of this as well.
I can't resist either, because I'm just so impressed with you all. So thank you again for all of your hard work. A couple things that I really, really appreciate about what you've just presented on and what y'all are doing is that you're not just doing cleanup yourselves. You're not just sorting trash and recycling yourselves. You're also telling the adults what you want to see them do, and that is the biggest power that you have. And that includes sending folks to Washington, D.C. to tell the adults there what needs to happen, because you see it more clearly than a lot of them do, and I want you to really trust that. Another thing that I would just offer, maybe as a suggestion, is that the largest sector, the largest source of greenhouse gas emissions, of climate change emissions in California, is transportation. It's about 41%. And I would love to see more work helping to maybe reduce the number of parents that drive kids to school, perhaps, and increase the number of people who bike to work and bike to school and do all that sort of thing. It's an interesting question to think about what our community might look like if we relied less on each of us driving our big, heavy, gas-guzzling cars everywhere. It's hard to imagine, but if anyone can come up with a vision for what that might look like, I have a feeling they might be sitting in the first 2 or 3 rows here. So no pressure, but excited to see what we come up with.
I completely agree with Morgan and Anna. I've never seen multiple schools come together and collaborate like this. Where I grew up, we had 5 or 6 elementary schools, and we all played basketball against each other. We didn't come together to work in collaboration for a common goal. And I thank you for taking the time out of your evenings to come here and share the work you've been doing with us. It makes me feel really, really proud to live in Truckee and to be raising my children, who one of them's in cells and one of them's going to be starting in kindergarten there, and to see the role models that they'll have in you fine young people is really just, I'm thrilled and I'm so proud of you. So thank you. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing.
So before we close this out, I would like to ask if all of you wouldn't mind standing up. We're going to take a photo of the group, and so that maybe you can add that to this presentation. So if all 14 or 15 of you and sponsors stand up at the podium, maybe look out this way, and we can ask parents, maybe the town and the council can stand, and we can, or we can come around or stand here. Maybe, yeah, right here, and then face that way.
Backs to us.
Yeah, backs to us. Yeah.
Hands up for green team. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. thank you again. And Erica, thank you for that reminder. Keep Truckee green. Thank you all. If you want to stay around for the consent calendar, it's pretty exciting. It's next. No? No takers? Okay. All right. I see our chiefs are staying around. We appreciate that. So, all right. Next up, we have our consent calendar. Actually, you know what? I just realized something. I'm not sure. Did I open that up for public comment? Well, we had a public photo, so I guess that'll replace the public comment tonight. Okay, excuse me for that. I got caught up in the excitement of the moment. Consent calendar, we have, let's see, 6 items on the calendar for tonight. Item 6.1, change in self-insured retention for workers' compensation and liability insurance. I think this next one is 6.2. It says 6.1 on here, at least on what I'm reading. So 6.2, adoption statement of investment policy for 2019-20 fiscal year. 6.3, establishment of the fiscal year 2019-20 GAN appropriations limit. 6.4, public Service Center Garage Construction Support Services Contract. 6.5, Coldstream Canyon Impact Report Addendum. And 6.6, Cooperative Agreement with the Truckee Fire Protection District to jointly execute a wildland fire contract with CAL FIRE to assure the availability of state resources to fight wildland fire within the town of Truckee. With that, any member of council care to pull an item? Member of staff?
Mayor, we'd like to pull item 6.4.
Okay, 6.4 we'll set aside. Any member of the public care to have an item pulled for further discussion? Okay, with that, we'll entertain a motion to approve items 6.1 through 6 with the exception of 6.4.
So moved.
Thank you, Morgan.
Second.
Thank you. Jessica, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so consent carries. Dan, 6.4, you'd like to discuss?
Yes, thank you. And the reason staff requested this be pulled is to make a couple of corrections from the information that we provided in the staff report. So this item is a construction support services contract with the architect and subconsultant team for the Corporation Yard project, Public Service Center project that's under construction. The purpose of the contract is to retain the architect and the subconsultants that were involved with the project design during the construction process so they can help us ensure that the project's being constructed per the plans and specifications. And there tend to be a lot of detailed questions that come up from the contractor during these types of projects that it's appropriate to have the design team involved with helping us to answer, as well as having the design team do periodic site visits for the project. So that basic recommendation remains the same, that we enter into that contract. Earlier today, staff sent out a memo to the council members with some recommendations on a modification from what's in the staff report. It would do 2 basic things. One is clarify that the entirety of the work within this contract would be on a time and materials basis, as opposed to there was some conflicting information in some of the sub-consultant work scopes that could have been interpreted for either lump sum or time and materials. We're just making sure that it's clear that this is entirely a time and materials contract. The other item, which is more substantial, is one of the sub-consultant contract proposals had been broken into 2 primary sections. One was a section that covered the proposed work scope for them to be reviewing work off-site, at their offices, which are down in the Sacramento area. The other part of the work scope was for them to be periodically on-site at the construction project to ensure that things on-site were, within their design specifications. The way their contract language was structured and the staff recommendation did not include the on-site, so coming to the project site component of their work scope, but it was intended to. So that work was detailed in their contract, but it was identified as optional services, and it should have been made more clear that that was one of the services that we're recommending that we hire them for. So our recommendation is the same, that we enter into the same contract, but with the contract amount being $228,766, not the $170,766 amount that was published in the staff report. So I'll stop at that and be happy to go into more detail if appropriate.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Any council questions?
No, I went through this already. I think that it makes sense and it's clear now on what we're doing.
Yeah, and I'd like to thank Councilmember Klövstad because it was some questions she had asked that caused us to dig into this a little more deeply and help bring to my attention that there was this oversight. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Entertain either a motion or if there's anything anyone wants to discuss further.
I would just say that given the investment that we're making in this future facility, I think this is a really appropriate investment to make sure that it goes well.
Totally agree. Okay.
Yeah.
Motion? Yeah?
Who wants to do it?
Okay. All in favor of item 6.4?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't think we had a motion.
I was going to say,
I
I
think
we're missing a
I thought
motion
we
in a
did.
second.
What's
I'll move
that?
item 6.4.
Okay. I may have, I thought I heard a motion.
Morgan?
I'll move item 6.4.
Second.
Okay, we'll take the vote again. All in favor?
And that would be for the revised amount.
For the revised amount.
For the revised amount.
Thank you.
Did
Morgan
we
is the
have,
first.
I thought we had Jessica and Morgan, first and second. Okay. All right. Now that we did that, did we vote? Are we going to?
Aye.
All those in favor?
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Wow, see what happens when we pull an item. Okay, thank you, Dan. Okay, I think at this point we're prepared to move on to our first discussion item of the evening, 7.1, staff report on the fiscal year 2019-20 Town of Truckee annual operating and capital budget. Nicole.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor and Council Member, we're very pleased to present the fiscal year 2019-2020 annual operating budget and 5-year capital improvement project budget. The budget process starts in January when we update our budget templates and council meets for their annual priority setting. Staff works from about mid-January through April working on the budget to prepare the whole document, and it starts in January with the development of the CIP budget and in February with the operational budget. Our first opportunity for the public to participate is in April when we met with council for a high-level review of the budget where you gave us some direction. And then later in April, we met for a week with Jeff, and he went through an in-depth review of every division and operating budget. Then we met with you again, incorporating the comments from our April meeting and the work that we did with the town manager. We met for a 6.5-hour meeting in May with you all, where we went through a detailed review of the budget again, where you provided additional commentary. And then the final opportunity for the public to participate is tonight at this meeting. And the budget that we're presenting incorporates the comments that you provided in April and in May. The budget is available on the town website. And for somebody that's new to the budget, if you're interested in getting a quick overview, a good place to start is the town manager letter, which is in section 1, and that provides a summary of the significant issues and projects coming for the fiscal year. We have also prepared a budget quick facts, which is a one-page document that presents the highlights of the budget, and that will be available on our town website. We're also going to print out a couple copies that will be available throughout Town Hall. The budget does address several council priorities. Everything with a check mark has been explicitly addressed by items in the budget. Some of the activities include hiring of the housing coordinator, specific division budgets including solid waste and sustainability, and a plethora of capital projects. Other council priorities will be addressed via staff activity, just not explicitly with a number in the budget. So this graph presents the general fund revenue, operating revenues and operating expenses. And what we're seeing here is that our operating revenues continue to outpace our operating expenses, which is great because the gap between them, between the left bar and the right bar, is what we use to pay for capital. So we want to see a little bit of a difference between the two. So that's good, a good trend. Our top 3 revenue sources remain property tax, sales tax, and transient occupancy tax or hotel tax. And public works, including snow removal, and police remain our top 2 spending categories. This shows the difference between operating revenues and operating expenses over several years. So we can see the green line represents our total operating revenues against our total operating expenditures, the yellow line. So that gap in between is what we have available to for savings, for council priorities, and for capital expenditures. And that orange line shows our operating expenditures with capital dollars included. And you see in fiscal year 1920, we have quite a spike. So that's money that we've been saving up that is now available for spending on those capital dollars. And this lots of numbered budget graph shows the calculation of our fund balance over the 5-year horizon, because we don't want to just look at the next year. We want to make sure that our plan is going to be sustainable for the foreseeable future. And what this graph is showing us is that we have quite a bit of money planned for capital spending in fiscal year 1920, $12.5 million, and with an additional around $4 million of capital spending from our designations. Additionally, we're taking out $5 million in debt financing through bonds to pay for the Public Works Corporation Yard project, and that'll increase our debt service spending from around $700,000 to nearly $1 million a year. So that's that first yellow line, and then that second yellow line is our capital spending. And then the next important number is our ending fund balance, and despite all this additional capital spending and increase in debt service, we managed to maintain a ending fund balance of $23.3 million for fiscal year 1920. That's down from $34.4 million in 1819. And that ending fund balance does encompass the general fund contingency, which is our emergency spending, which is that third yellow line, as well as other savings for future council priorities. And the green bar along the bottom represents our projected cash available balance. Council has given us a direction to maintain a balance of $5 million. And although we do see some fluctuation, we end the 5-year planning horizon with about $7.3 million. So we're looking good. And this graph is showing our fiscal year 1920 capital project funding. we have a whopping $12.5 million from the general fund. Again, that's a really big number, so we just really wanted to point that out, with an additional $4 million from the general fund designations. Oh, here, sorry, my notes got. Okay, we have 47 active budgeted projects for fiscal year 1920 for a total of $31.9 million. And over the 5-year horizon, we actually have 82 projects with a total of $135.9 million of planned expenses, 37 million of which is currently unfunded. And our biggest project right now is that Public Works Facilities new facility. So we'd like to open it up to any questions you may have.
Thank you, Nicole. I mean, clearly the result of quite a bit of work that all of us were involved in, and we'll open this up if there are any council questions.
I feel like I'm pretty clear on the budget. We've spent quite a bit of time with it. It's like an old friend.
Right. Yep.
Yep, I would echo that. Just a general comment that it was a great summary, top lines, and really appreciate the one-pager and all those public communications as well.
Yep. Okay, no questions here either. I think, again, we spent a lot of time on this, so at this point, we'll open this up for public comment.
Hi, I'm Susie Tarnay, and I'm not complaining about anything tonight. I just wanted to make a statement on behalf of Sarah Smith from the Truckee Arts Alliance. She just wanted to say thank you for adding the $25,000 line item per year to the economic development section, specifically to fund town art. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Susie, and thanks Sarah as well. Appreciate that. Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment and bring this back to council for any additional discussion, deliberation, or a motion.
I just want to thank staff for your hard work. Not only was this, I know, very complicated because we were making a lot of requests, but you assemble it in such a beautiful way. It's very logical. It's easy to find things. I love the color coding. The graphs are fantastic. And yeah, the one pager is very helpful. I'm very proud of this document. You guys have done an excellent job.
Any other comment? Or?
No, I agree. We asked for the impossible, and somehow you managed to pull it off. And so I appreciate that. It seems like we're always throwing something else at you, and you managed to get it taken care of. So, and also, yeah, easy to understand, easy to read, and the patience with walking us through and the questions that we ask is I appreciate it.
Echoing that, this was my 5th budget being a part of, and I think we've improved every year on the process of getting this to completion. I think in particular, we've already spoken to this, but I just want to underscore the fact that you had a council this year that was coming with a lot of priorities and a lot of requests and a lot of ideas, and I think that is exactly how it should work. I think that you elect us to bring these ideas forward and help translate them into budget policy. And I just want to acknowledge that how responsive and how many changes we made really based on what council had to say. And I think the really active and exciting and hard-fought election had a lot to do with that. And that frankly is how it's all supposed to work. So it's not just council and staff here, but it's also the community that really helped shape this. And I don't think we got into it much, but this budget does put a huge amount of money towards both locals housing and renewable energy and climate change projects, money that very easily could have been spent on any number of other very good and useful things for the community. And because those are the priorities that we've set, we really came with a commitment to put our money behind those priorities. And and we've done that.
I totally agree. I agree with everything I've heard up here, and I think importantly, the picture that this budget paints is one of a very healthy balance sheet. We're in a good position as a town, a healthy position. Thank you, Kim, Chrissy, Nicole, Jeff, the entire team for all the hard work to get it there, balancing the priorities that we've set that Morgan just discussed, and so I think terrific job. And yes, I too appreciate the simple to understand graphics, so thank you for that. Okay, so with that, I think we'll entertain a motion to approve the budget.
I'll move that we approve Resolution 2019-26 to adopt the 2019-2020. Do we read the whole thing, Town of Truckee? Annual operating. Oh, it's right here. Thanks. Annual operating and 5-year capital budget, including proposed personnel changes. We adopt the estimated actuals for fiscal year 2018-19 capital improvement projects as the amended budget amounts, and adopt the fiscal year 2019-2020 job classification and salary matrix list.
Thank you, Jessica. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Morgan. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you again.
So does this mean now we get to officially try to hire a housing coordinator?
It's out on the streets or the airwaves or wherever it is.
That's the other part about this budget.
We were anticipating a positive, but yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you again. At this point, we're going to move on to the staff report, item 7.2 for the Rail Yard Movie Theater Public Art Easement. And it looks like Yumi is queuing up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Today we'll be talking about the public art easement for the Rail Yard Movie Theater. So in March of this year, the Planning Commission approved a 12,000 square foot, 3-screen movie theater in the Rail Yard Master Plan area. There was no concerns about the actual use. It was long identified as a desired use within the Rail Yard Master Plan in the downtown. The one main concern that the Planning Commission did identify was potentially the architecture on the north and east elevations. Due to the nature of a movie theater that requires large expanses of walls without windows, and its location on a corner that has three sides visible and potentially 4 sides visible to the public. The Planning Commission did identify that the elevations on the north and east sides are of some concern. The applicants who are here today, Brett Smith, architect, and Sig, the applicant, identified that it would be difficult or financially infeasible to do additional architectural enhancements or art on these sides of the project. However, the Planning Commission did identify that they did want to, due to the location of the movie theater on a gateway location on the southeast corner of the new Church Street roundabout, the gateway to downtown, to the rail yard, the Planning Commission believed that there should be some mitigation on the visual impact of that large expanse. So the Planning Commission adopted condition of approval number 18, which required that the applicant either apply architectural cladding or incorporate applied materials to the north and east elevations, and or execute a contract with an artist to apply art on the north and east elevations. Or number 3, which the applicant stated that the applicant may offer to the town an easement or license or similar mechanism for use of the north and east building facades for installation and maintenance of art. If the applicants offer this to the town and the town council tonight chooses to accept it, then this condition of approval would be considered fulfilled. So today the applicants are taking option 3, and they're choosing to offer to the town council easements for public art on the north and east elevations. While it's at the town council's discretion what you choose to do tonight, but based off of past discussions with the council and the community, there are several reasons why we are bringing this forward tonight. First, the development agreement identified a movie theater with performing arts component as a desired use within the Rail Yard Master Plan. The Rail Yard Master Plan identifies public art as something that we should consider and support. And then we are drafting a public art master plan at the town council's direction, which would potentially create a process and funding mechanism for public art. So we thought that this would be something that the town council would like to just consider tonight. So if the town council chooses to accept the offer from the applicants, that would mean that the town council is authorizing that the town attorney draft the appropriate document, whatever that may be, and authorize the town manager to accept the offer on behalf of the town. That would mean then that the document is required to be recorded after purchase of the property and prior to occupancy of the theater. And the selection, timeline, funding for the installation of the art on the facades would be at the discretion of the town council. We don't know when or how, but it'll come back to the town council for that discussion. That's all I have, and I'm here to answer any questions. And the applicant team can also answer any questions.
Thank you, Yumi. Okay, so what we'll do is open this up for any council clarifying questions first.
I'm sorry, I just have a quick one. If you can just clarify, so the easement, if something happens to the building, are we then liable or responsible for maintenance or repair? Like, how does that, what actually goes into the easement of the side of the building?
Sure. So,
and what liability do we take on?
An easement is the right to go on someone else's land and do something, or the right to prevent them from doing something on their own land. So the way that, and I haven't decided if this would be an easement or a license, but probably an easement. And what it would be is we would have the right to put something on the side of the building. Could just be paint. It could be maybe some kind of small structures that wouldn't affect the integrity of the building, but we would not have any responsibility for maintaining the building itself. I would draft it so that we had only responsibility to maintain whatever we put out there, but not the building itself. And of course, there would be language addressing liability issues so that if our art falls off somehow, even if it's just flecks of paint, that's on us. But if the building falls down, that's not on us.
Thank you.
I was there to get into the really rosy, optimistic outcomes, Andy. Obviously, very important to consider that. Would it be appropriate to share any thoughts of what that might be? I mean, I know there's certainly been lots of discussion about how these walls might come alive, but obviously we're not here to decide what that is tonight, but I just wonder if it's sort of a nice chance for an update.
I think that the agenda item is broad enough for you to consider whether this is a good idea, and part of considering whether this is a good idea is considering what kinds of things you might like to see. So although of course you can't make any decisions about content tonight, I think that a discussion of would this approach work for certain things or not work for certain things, that seems to be within the bounds of the agenda.
So we have a local muralist who has taken a look at this through the rail yard. They kind of took a quick look, and that's a possibility. Certainly that lends itself. It's a large, blank wall. We've looked at maybe hangings, the possibility of something that hangs down. Poster is the wrong term there, but I'm sure there's a correct term of art. But either one or several are large hangings. The possibility of some sort of a framing structure, a very light kind of framing structure on which you might put either permanent or temporary displays is another thing that's been talked about. So we need to kind of go through a process, and the Public Art Master Plan may help us through that, or we may choose to jump on it quicker, depending a little bit on the timing of the theater.
Save my comments for comments.
And my only question is just making clear that the decision of what goes on there, is that's not going to be up for them to approve, as well as the town council, as well as the master or the art master plan. Just how many hands are in that pot to make that decision?
The easement or license agreement would specify that the owner of the building would have no control whatsoever over what we decide to put up there, but it would otherwise not try to get into addressing what the decision-making process would be. That is better addressed elsewhere.
As part of the art master plan. Yeah. And that's agreeable to the applicant. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Andy, Difference between easement, why would you consider a license agreement versus an easement?
That's a long and boring discussion that I'd be happy to have with you in my office.
Just, is there a 10-second, one over the other?
Sure. Easements are typically more permanent. Licenses, of course, can be irrevocable, but it's more common to have a revocable license. So an easement might provide greater rights for the town, which is why I'm leaning in that direction, but it requires a little bit more study and thinking before I decide how to put it together.
Okay. And then an easement would typically entail some kind of a map describing the dimensions or the area in question and that sort of thing?
Typically it would. In this case, because the area would be relatively easy to describe, it could simply be the north walls of the building as shown in some attached exhibit, plus the east wall of the building.
Right.
I mean, pretty easy.
Okay. And then two other questions. This one may be for the applicant. What is the status of the project?
Hi, Stephen Sig, Truckee Art House Cinema Project. We are going gangbusters, trying to get a new financial strategy together. We had a couple fees that got in the way, and now we're just re-strategizing, and we're trying our hardest to get this thing going as fast as we possibly can, but we have to do it with a good strategy.
Thank you, Stephen. And architectural drawings, are they at a conceptual level, or have they progressed beyond what was presented to the Planning Commission?
Yes, our concept was we did get our development application permit, and now we are currently working on construction documents.
Okay.
So we've finished our mapping. What else should we throw in there? Yeah, our mapping and our elevations is what basically we came to terms with today. So some of our egress, because the elevations are a little bit off on the sidewalks and whatnot, so we have to be really diligent about that kind of stuff.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And
Morgan, I'll talk to you later.
And then just a last question for staff as sort of a not directly related, but sort of a parallel question. Draft master plan, public art master plan. Any update on where that stands?
We're targeting to try and bring that to you for your next council meeting.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Danielle. All right. Any other questions, Morgan?
Just Andy's description of the easement concerning the walls. One of the concepts that I have seen for this also includes putting something on the roof to complete the art. Is that something that we feel we can work into the agreement?
Certainly, if that's something that's of interest to the council, I mean, I can draft it. And then, of course, we have to talk to the property owner. But it could be something as simple as allowing us to attach something to the top of a parapet wall. Or if you think that we might want to be able to put something on the roof, we could do that. If I were the property owner, I'd probably want to have some idea of the scale and scope.
Anything beyond this is certainly beyond my pay grade or purview, but I'm just adding a third dimension to the, the conversation.
So to speak, yes.
Okay, any other council questions before we open that to public comment? Okay. Well, at this time, we'll open this item up for public comment. Any public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment and bring this back to council for discussion deliberation. So who would care to start?
I'll start just to say I think this is a tremendous opportunity for us. I think this is a gateway to town, kind of iconic location, and not only is it a great use, but as you think about coming down the hill, maybe you just got off the highway, maybe you're arriving in Truckee for the first time. I think that this is worth a good deal of town investment to make into a truly iconic place. And I think that, while there's certainly all kinds of fun, throw something up or have it be temporary or have it rotate, my view of this is certainly that it's an opportunity to kind of go through a good process and have a really bold and fun and funky and just really memorable art piece. So obviously this will probably be for another council to discuss, but I wanted to put my 2 cents in there while I can.
You can always provide public comment after the fact.
Well, I'm really excited about this. I think it's a win-win. I want to thank our planning commissioners for being so thoughtful about creating this opportunity, and for the property owner, the applicant, for being willing to do this. I see it as an opportunity to beautify a building that our town is very much so looking forward to having. And also creating more public art, which our town is also advocating for. And so this is just a win-win.
Yeah, I completely agree. We've been saying for years that we want to see more public art in the community, and then this year really making it a push to make it much more of a priority. And so for us to be able to collaborate with this building that needs to have something big and fun and funky, and I have no idea what it might look like, but I think it's a wonderful opportunity, so totally on board.
I agree, and I want to compliment the applicant team for a really good job at design. These are challenging projects to design. They're very utilitarian, and I think you've done a very masterful job of articulating something that I think is going to be really good and welcome in our community. And thank you for investing in Truckee. I think it's going to be a terrific asset to our town. Rooting for you in terms of pulling the financing, figuring that out and getting that together. But it sounds like if you've gone to the point where you're at construction drawings, that means you're very well invested in this. And I think a blank wall, I think in Latin they call that a tabula rasa, and a terrific opportunity for our community to offer the input and to create something really, really exciting and at such a key intersection, or it's not an intersection, at a key roundabout. I agree with Morgan, coming down that hill, it's an entry point to our downtown, and I think, very excited about it. And I think I too would have chosen option 3 if I were you, so. All right. So I think with that, we want to take a vote on this, right?
Can I just add
Jeff?
one point? I want to include in the thank yous Yumi and Danielle and Andy in particular. This took some very creative thought. The first thing you don't think of is an easement on a wall of a building. And to come up with those options and to present those options, I just want to appreciate the creativity that went on kind of behind the scenes to get this in front of the Planning Commission.
Thank you for that, Jeff. And yes, thank you, Yumi and Andy and Jeff and everyone else. And Jenna, yeah, I mean, that I don't think I've ever heard of anything quite like this, an easement on the facade of a building. So yes, very creative thinking. So thank you for that. Exciting. Maybe we're opening a door to many more wall easements in the future. Who knows? All right. So with that, I think we're prepared to move on to a vote on this item. Who would care to make a motion?
I move that we authorize the town attorney to draft the appropriate document and authorize the town manager to accept the offer on behalf of the town for the Rail Yard Movie Theater Public Art Easement.
Thank you, Morgan. Do we have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Jessica. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Congratulations and thank you again.
Nice work, everybody. Thank you.
Go get him. We're rooting for you.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to the next steps on this. So, all right, we're going to move on to item 7.3, public hearing for the adoption of solid waste service rate. And Erica, looks like you're queuing up.
Thank you, Mayor Tierman. I'd like to acknowledge that Kelly Hare from TTSD is here, and they've been invaluable partners this last year as we've thrown quite a lot at them. So thanks, Kelly, for being here on a Tuesday evening. All right, just as a reminder, we rolled out brand new programs last July, and so we're now 1 year underway, almost 1 year underway, and we crafted the programs to prevent up to 3 million plastic bags from being landfilled over the next 10 years. That's the length of the contract. Eliminate the need to buy blue and green bags, and also reduce recycling contamination, most importantly, as a result of those programs in order to meet our sustainability commitment. So a brief rundown of services for residents. The trash is 1 time per week, and that's in your customer provided can. Any additional cans are $5.26. And just another note that can averaging is a thing of the past, so it's 1 can per week, and anything extra is an additional can. If you have extras, however, we do have 4 times per year scheduled overages that you can do by logging onto your account online, and that is for 3 extra cans. Again, that's 4 times per year. In addition, there are bulky item pickups. So if you have a couch or a mattress that you need to get rid of, you can call TTSD to schedule that ahead of time, and that's available 2 times per year. And for our cart programs, of course, residents can sign up online. Here's keeptruckygreen.org. And last year we had close to 6,000 residents make their cart selections online. So we have 52% participation community-wide with just the online signups, and we've had additional signups by callers to TTSD. So that would be for the recycling carts. Those are optional, so residents have to opt in to receive a cart. They're serviced every other week, and unlimited blue bag service is also continuing. But as a reminder to anyone that's going to utilize a blue bag, it's important to place them next to your trash can, not on top of it, so that you don't end up getting inadvertently charged for an overage. And this summer, we'll have our 2 drop-off locations returning at Town Hall and the Tahoe Donner Northwoods Clubhouse for communal drop-off during July and August. As a reminder, the recycling carts rollout schedule is, it began in Glenshire last year. The rest of town, except for Tahoe Donner, will receive carts in September, and service begins in October. And then the 3rd phase next fall will go to Tahoe Donner. Just a little overview, in Glenshire, we had a 75% participation rate, which was really great, and 1,100 carts are out there now. For green waste, similarly, residents can opt in to receive a cart, and they can get up to 3 carts for free. Anyone ordering a cart from now on has an option to either pay a $56.79 delivery fee, or they can alternatively pick up the carts for free on 2 select dates, which one is coming up this Friday, the 14th, from 8 to 10 a.m., or June 28th from 12 to 2 p.m. So if you want to pick up your cart for free, you gotta do it on those 2 dates, and after that, you'll have to pay the delivery fee. A few more numbers. TTSD delivered over 9,000 carts between last year and this year. Again, a pretty remarkable number and a huge lift. So just want to thank TTSD for all their hard work and efforts in doing that extremely manual, labor-intensive job. Results from the first year of Green Waste. For anyone that questioned the efficacy of moving from green bags to green carts, the results are in, and the green carts are the winner. We collected a significant 461 tons in the green waste carts, and that was just from the limited time that folks had them last year versus the average 270 tons collected in green bags in similar quarters. Another disposal method is the discounted dumpster rentals. So these are weekly bin rentals, and Just to note that the price is going up to $75.72 beginning July 1st, and that's to account for the increased tipping fee at ERL for yard waste. So that was an anticipated increase that we were aware of that was coming this year, but it did go up by quite a bit at Eastern Regional Landfill. One more program to note that is new as of very recently, we are hosting a communal food waste drop-off. There's one cart downstairs at Town Hall in the rear entrance, and we're also partnering with the demonstration garden this summer so that folks can bring their food scraps to their community garden or to Sunday farmers markets. And just as a reminder, this is for food scraps only, so no paper products, no napkins, and that type of thing. As part of our services, we do have an administrative fee that covers our outreach and education programs and our waste reduction efforts. So things like the reusable to-go boxes, the waste stations that are at special events that we support, the Fix-It clinics at Truckee Roundhouse, and the varying efforts that we have, tabling events and doing outreach with multifamily apartment complexes. In the middle there, those were some students who made reusable bags for our bag share program. So to recap, the rates are comprised of a base fee, a base rate, which is $25.42, just to note that this differs by a few pennies from the staff report. However, the total is the same. So the base rate is $25.42. The franchise fee, which is $1.34, and combined with the administrative fee, which again covers our staff time, maintaining the franchise agreement as well as implementing all of the programs. So that brings it to the $360.40 annual for residential rates. And I'm going to pass this over to Mel to go over our waste characterization study and commercial services.
Thank you. So over the last year, we've been conducting this waste characterization study where we've been following 10 different businesses as well as Glenshire neighborhoods residential waste. And the purpose was to get an idea of what kind of materials our businesses and residents are disposing of so we can accommodate that through our services and our outreach. So a summary of the study, like I said, we followed 10 businesses, and Glenshire neighborhood, we sampled 4 different times between February 2018 and May 2019. And I think the photos there summarize what the study looks like. Nick is featured again here. He's there sampling materials and putting them into a container. And the photo on the right is an example of a container full of just plastics 3 through 7, and we captured the weight of each material. So this is a chart of our residential waste from Glenshire. As you can see, cardboard and organics are our largest material types. About 34% of those materials, well, exactly 34% of those materials are recyclable. So that's going clockwise from paper down to plastics 1 and 2 are our recyclable materials. And then the organics, like Erica said, we're introducing a residential compost drop-off program, which we're excited to introduce to capture those organic materials. So some data about our residential recycling in Glenshire. Like Erica said, we have 1,100 carts out in Glenshire currently, and that is an estimated reduction of 43,600 blue bags in our first year. And 95.8 tons of recyclables were collected from Glenshire in the first quarter of our first year. And through our study, we found that the contamination rate was about 17%. So that's the materials in those recycling carts that are not actually recyclable. So that tells us it's a pretty good number, but that tells us we still have some education to improve on. And most of those materials were things that things like 3 through 7 plastics or food soiled paper, things that we just need to work on for our next rollout in September to get our residents on board completely. So this chart shows us our commercial waste. Similarly, a large percentage is cardboard and organics, and about 50% of those materials are recyclable through our recycling cart program or our cardboard dumpster program. Again, that's going clockwise from paper down to plastics 1 and 2. And then our organics materials are being captured through our food waste program. But yeah, we can go to the next one. So this takes us to our commercial recycling. So through our study where we sampled 10 businesses, when we started out sampling blue bags, we had 4 out of those 10 businesses were using blue bags at least once. So we estimated about a 40% participation. And later on, once we rolled out our recycling cart program, we had 8 out of those 10 businesses using their recycling carts. So that is an increase to 80% participation. However, this is just a sample of those 10 businesses, but on a larger scale of the 350 businesses, we have a 98% recycling cart usage. And we're still conducting follow-up to capture that last 2%, make sure everyone is properly recycling. And then for contamination, in those blue bags that businesses were using, about 40% of those materials were not actually recyclable. And now that we've rolled out the recycling carts, that reduced to about 19%. So when we rolled out those carts, we did a outreach campaign to make sure everyone was aware of what can actually go in their new containers. So that proved to be successful, but again, we still have some work to do. So back to the commercial services for our rates. Businesses are offered trash, recycling, food waste, and cardboard collection services. Trash and recycling are now required for every business. Food waste is required for every large food waste generator, and it's also optional for any other business. And then we have cardboard collection. And as I noted, food waste and cardboard are our largest material types. And if Erica takes us to the next slide, we can show that food waste and cardboard are actually our most subsidized services, or they are both subsidized. So we're offering those at lower rates. Recycling is actually free. Food waste is offered at 50% the cost of a mixed waste container, and cardboard is offered at 10% the cost of a mixed waste container. And so the base rate, the total rate for our commercial services is calculated from the base rate, and then the $327 admin fee, which supports our outreach and administration of the franchise agreement. So the outreach, like Erica talked about at our Truckee Thursdays and our different events where we can support our community. And then there's an example down below of what a typical business might have: a 3-yard dumpster, 2 recycling carts for free, and then a 3-yard dumpster plus the admin fee would bring out their services to $381.89. That's just an example of what a business might be paying for.
Thanks, Mel. So staff recommends that council adopt or conduct a public hearing and approve the residential and commercial solid waste schedules and adopt resolution 2019-30 requesting Nevada County auditor to collect the residential fee on the Nevada County property tax roll.
One thing I did want to add is that we obviously did a mailing as required under the 218 notice requirements to the entire community, giving the opportunity to provide you all input, and we didn't receive any back. Otherwise, you would have gotten it. So we did go through that required process.
Okay. Thank you, Kim, Erica, Mel, and Kelly for being here. So with that, I think we'll open this up to council clarifying questions first. Jessica?
I have a couple. Thank you. Those are some impressive numbers. The difference in the non-contaminated recycling success through the businesses. That's really neat to see, and I appreciate all of your work on researching it. So just kind of out of curiosity, the residential food or organic waste drop-off points, is that going to be composted locally, or does that get trucked out with the rest of like the restaurant food waste?
Yeah, so the drop-off point here at Town Hall will go along with our commercial composting program. So that will all be brought to currently RT Donovan. Also, it may be going to Full Circle compost facility in the future. If people are bringing their materials directly to Farmers Market or to the community garden, it will be composted at their demonstration garden compost.
Thank you. And then I remember when you were working on this massive contract, which was a huge project, how much of the pricing details were worked into that? Because I feel like we've kind of already talked about the cost. I feel like we've visited this once before. So have we had any big changes, or why do we have to we do this every year, don't we? So we're just kind of doing it again. But this has already been agreed upon, or it's not agreed upon, but it's already been discussed in the contract.
Correct. So each year we apply the CPI index as we've approved in our contract, as you mentioned. And the other impacts on the rates are the year 2 rollout of the program. So if you recall, we're doing this over a 3-year period, and we did that intentionally to try to phase in the rate increases, as well as increase tipping fees at Eastern Regional Landfill, which is where all of our materials go. And Placer County owns ERL, so they set those fees due to increased labor costs and other industry parts of the economy are what affects the tip fee. And so those are all factors that impact the rates here.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Amazing presentation and work, and I'll save some of that for comments, discussion, but I wanted to ask about the Keep Truckee Green website. It's beautiful, and I love how it looks. It does get a fair amount of traffic, right? I know in the past we've talked about how we kind of see the Keep Truckee Green brand kind of expanding to encompass our climate change work. And so I was just looking at the website, and I don't see, actually a few weeks ago I was trying to find links to our, climate kind of planning documents, and I can't find them on there. And as I was looking around, I also noticed that even on the news and events section of the website, it's nothing local. Whereas the Keep Truckee Green Facebook feed is a beautiful and colorful collection of all the kind of great work we're doing locally. So just would love to see that stuff acknowledged more and shared with folks that aren't on social media.
Noted. We're I believe now that the budget has been approved, we'll be commencing work on incorporating the greater brand of sustainability work under Keep Truckee Green.
Great. Thank you.
Good point, Councilmember Goodwin. Would you anticipate that the contamination rate will go down once we really hone in on that organics diversion, and that mixed waste will probably be a little more distilled?
On the commercial level, or
on the
or
commercial
residential?
On the commercial level, it just seems like if we're really taking out all the food scraps, then more of that will actually be more useful as a recyclable. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the contamination is just the materials in the recycling cart. So I guess, yes, if we're able to reduce our organics materials in total, we can reduce the accidental organic placement in recycling containers.
Yeah, and then the inverse being, it's going to be so hard to keep these these food bins absolutely contaminant free. So there's a education and outreach portion going on with that as well, because that's kind of part of what Missy was talking about earlier too. I know the school district is just really concerned about how to keep those contaminants out. So, inverse relationship there. And then, is there an opportunity for businesses to combine the 2 3-yard bins, one for trash, one for cardboard, and then recycling carts? That just takes up a lot of real estate. Do you ever have businesses ask to combine, and is that a possibility?
Yes, absolutely. We have multiple businesses currently sharing, especially in complexes where they already have communal trash collection. They have communal cardboard and recycling collection as well. So yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of businesses sharing, and with the addition of new containers, that has increased.
And so then when you combine some of those, then they possibly then trigger their own requirement to adhere to AB 1826 and do the food waste diversion as well.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I was curious, the numbers clearly speak for themselves, but I'm curious, has there been any feedback from the Glenshire community in terms of the blue waste bins? Specifically, are they commenting that one bin per household is enough, or the frequency of pickup, those kinds of things? Any feedback on that front?
Oh, yeah. I would say we've heard comments across the board. Some people want an extra bin. Some people want a smaller bin. Some people want them weekly. So there are lots of opinions, and I think that the current program accommodates as many different needs as possible, especially for folks with bare boxes, and that they're optional, of course. But we've gotten differing feedback, and yeah.
Okay. So there wasn't any kind of sort of majority consensus bit of feedback on that. It sounds like a wide array of commentary.
And one of the things that we have to keep in mind when we design this program with you all is that you can do anything as long as you're willing to pay for it. And so when we worked with TTSD, we were looking at improving our program, which we feel like we've done dramatically, and keeping the cost reasonable for our homeowners. So you can do anything.
Right. Okay. And then Kim, your comment that you received no public comment on this particular item.
No response to the 218 noticing. That's correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other council questions before we open it up? Okay, we'll open this item up for public comment. If you could state your name and 3 minutes. Thank you.
Kelly Hare from Tahoe Truckee Sierra Disposal. I just am here tonight to thank the council and the town of Truckee for the partnership that we have together. This past year, or maybe 2 years, has been, an enormous amount of work, and I think through Erica's presentation, you can see some of the fruits of that labor. And we really genuinely appreciate the partnership that we have, and look forward to continue the next 9 years together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Any other public comment? All right, seeing none, we will close public comment, bring this back to council for discussion, deliberation. Who would care to start?
I'll jump in. I can't wait to get my blue cart. I'm really envious of all those Glenshire residents that have theirs already. The numbers really are staggering. The 50,000 green bags and 43,000 plus blue bags. I'm so thrilled with that. We need a lot less plastic in our lives, and this is a huge leap in that direction. I also want to commend the staff and TTSD for the work that you did to create this extraordinary program, which really does encompass so many unique requirements of our community. Let's just, to put it nicely, there was a lot of challenges and a lot of obstacles thrown at you guys, and you did a really fantastic job creating a workable solution, I think, for everybody. I also just want to comment that the town of Truckee provided Tahoe Truckee Unified School District with reusable plates and cups and bowls and utensils. And so we just launched that at the district office. We have a little sign-up program, and it just amazes me how well our community works together, and I just wanted to point that out and appreciate that we are now eliminating or absolutely minimizing the amount of single-use disposables throughout our community through programs like this. And I know the town of Truckee has been doing it here for quite some time, and I've always really appreciated that. And now we have that at our school district office as well. So I also think that the Envirolution Club members and maybe some of the kids here might be really interested in supporting some of this education and outreach. And in particular, I know there's a couple of them that are really focused on trying to get rid of the styrofoam to-go containers. And I think they would love to partner with you on expanding on that. So I just really commend everybody for their hard work on this. I'm very excited to see this happen and to get my blue card.
Yeah, I really want to appreciate Sierra Disposal. I mean, you all have been incredible partners on this. I think we started looking at the contract, it was like 3 or 4 years ago. And it was kind of that feeling of like, well, this is what we got. Let's see what we can kind of create here. And you guys really rose to that challenge and worked with us. And so I hope you pass on to your team just how thrilled we are. And likewise, Erica and your team, you guys are rock stars. It is so easy to imagine somebody in your position doing your work and seeing the scope of work as much more narrow as, make sure the recycling gets picked up and the carts are delivered. And you go so far above and beyond that with all of the outreach activities, be it education or Fix-It clinics or, the Keep Truckee or the Truckee Day that you have sort of helped to keep going. And I just really want to appreciate that. So thank you.
Yeah, this was a huge undertaking when it started years ago. And it's not an easy community to make everybody happy because we're so diverse with second homeowners and large families and the businesses. And so to be able to find that happy medium and collaborate and come up with a solution that is going to be the most amenable to really everyone. That's awesome. I'm thrilled. Thank you. And yeah, the numbers, I can't wait for my blue cart too, but I have been utilizing my green cart, which I've never really picked up pine needles before. They get stuck in the gravel and they're here and there. And so I've been filling up my green cart every week, and it looks like everyone else has been too. And so that's just making our community safer fire-wise, which is another really important aspect of it. So if I had to go out and buy the green bags and fill them up, I wouldn't have filled them up as much. Just to be honest, I really don't. Realistically, my cart's there. I have 10, 15 minutes. I'm throwing pine needles and pine cones, and I don't know that I would have gone to the effort to buy a green bag and do a handful of pine needles otherwise. So I appreciate how it helps to motivate at least me, and if it's me, it's other people out there too. So thank you for your hard work and for the, like Morgan said, the enthusiasm that goes into your role. So appreciate it.
I agree with everything up here that's been said. The numbers speak for themselves. I mean, it's incredible. 50,000 green plastic bags in 1 year being saved, over 43,000 blue bags in Glenshire. That's impressive. And as the rollout continues throughout Truckee, that number is going to triple, quadruple. It's going to be amazing when you calculate that over a 10-year period and beyond. So terrific partnership as well. I definitely appreciate how well the town and the TTSD have worked on this. And then seeing how our community has embraced the program as well, with 75% participation, for example, in Glenshire with the blue bins. And it's great now, as I live in Glenshire, have certainly enjoyed having the blue bin, and it's great to have the reminder now when driving down the street on Thursday morning and remembering, oh yes, put the blue bin out today, even though I get the email. So terrific program, terrific progress and process, and I think dovetails beautifully with the fourth grade class we had here earlier today with the green team. That's our future. So, for me, ready to approve and the rate schedule adjustment. So, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll move the staff recommendation.
Thank you, Morgan.
Second.
Thank you, Jessica. We're going to try something different. Let's do a voice vote just for the heck of it.
Fancy.
Councilmember Klostad?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Goodwin?
Yes.
Mayor Timmon?
Yes.
And Councilmember Abrams?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I've been waiting for that opportunity for a while, so that was good. That's good.
If I can just mention really quickly, too, I forgot to say I have a daughter who's 6 years old. She came home from school a couple of weeks ago. She is so excited about the fact that we can bring any food that wasn't eaten to the community garden. So she's going to be our family champion at the leftovers. But she's thrilled. And so to have her growing up in that kind of environment and so that way of living where we don't just put stuff in the trash. If it can be composted, we'll compost. If we can recycle, we'll recycle. That's really, it's neat. So I'm psyched for that.
So thank you, Jessica. I was wondering, the next item is very much related to what we just discussed. So you're going to take that one away as well?
This is going to be my shortest slide deck ever.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the delinquent accounts, and staff recommends that council conduct a public hearing and approve Resolution 2019-31 establishing delinquent residential solid waste service accounts.
Okay, and the detail was in the staff report. There was a lot of detail. There were lots of names who will go nameless here tonight, but
correct. Just as a recap, anyone who has outstanding bills with TTSD, they sent a letter in addition to their regular bill collection methods, and we have subsequently sent a reminder, just one more niggling, hey, pay this, otherwise it will go on to your property tax roll this summer.
Okay. We'll open this up for any council questions on this item.
Just one quick question. So what is the time frame where if they realize, oh no, I forgot to pay this, that they can still go pay it before it ends up on their tax roll?
Great question. Residents can do so prior to July 1st. At that point, we'll be getting our information over to Nevada County.
And it sounds like they were sent a bill and then two letters, one from the TTSD and then one from the town.
Correct.
Any other council questions? Good. All right. We'll open this item up for public comment.
Kelly Hare, Tahoe Truckee Sierra Disposal. I just wanted to give a little bit more background on the delinquent accounts. It is basically for residential home sites, so commercial customers are not included. And then also there is a $50 limit that you have to be over. So if your delinquent bill, let's say, is $20, you would not show up on this list. You still owe that, and it will it's going to keep showing up on your statements next year. If you have some more extras or whatnot, it may reach that $50, but I just wanted to kind of clarify that this is kind of a new, with the new agreement that launched last year. Before we would put, $4 on someone's property tax, where now it's up to the 50. So, and we do continue to take payments, from customers. So, to your point, Councilman or Councilwoman Klövstad, they have received quarterly bills. So some of these customers, they may have received, 4 quarterly bills already, and then also followed up with a letter directly from us and then a letter from the town. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Bring this back to council for any discussion or a motion.
I'll move the staff recommendation.
Thank you, Morgan.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jessica. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Okay. Let's see. Quick check here. 5-minute break? No, we're good? We're going to power through? We're very close to, okay, we got this. Okay. All right. Okay, we'll go to item 7.5, public hearing, CalPERS contract amendment. Is that Nicole? All right.
So we are here to conduct a public hearing about the CalPERS contract amendment for employee cost sharing with the Police Officers Association. So to give you a background, on April 9th, the TPOA, the Truckee Police Officers Association Memorandum of Understanding was approved. Within this agreement, the Classic Safety PERS members elected to assume 3% of the employer's portion of their pension cost. So they were previously contributing 9% towards their pension retirement costs, and they're going to take over 3% of what the employers were previously contributing. And CalPERS dictates the methods that we have to go through to get a contract amendment, and a contract amendment is needed so that PERS can count the additional 3% that they're going to be contributing as part of the amount that they're contributing. Otherwise, it would stay in the town's pool that we're sending them. And that was part of we agreed upon that with the POA as part of the MOU. So with that, we are recommending that you approve the resolution of intention and introduce the ordinance, unless you have any questions.
Thank you, Nicole. Any questions from council on this item? Nope. Seeing none. We'll move and open this up for public comment. Any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment, we'll close public comment. Bring this back for a motion, discussion, whatever is the council's pleasure.
Go ahead.
I don't really have anything I need to say about it.
So do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve resolution of intent to approve an amendment to the contract between CalPERS and the town of Truckee.
Thank you, Anna.
And then are we also no, we're not introducing the ordinance. We have to do that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we do want to do that.
Introduce ordinance 2019-6, authorizing an amendment to the town's contract with CalPERS and waive the first reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Staff recommendation carries. Resolution passes. Thank you. Okay. With that, we are on to council reports. Tonight, we will start with Councilmember Abrams.
I attended a meeting with Dan and Rob to discuss traffic abatement strategies. I don't know the right word. And the concerns around the need for traffic abatement strategies. So it was a very interesting meeting. I learned quite a bit. It sounds like they're going to be going out into the community with attending homeowner association meetings and having some similar conversations. It was very, very helpful for me to learn about the different real impacts to safety as far as traffic. I attended the Optimist fundraiser on Saturday, which was really fun at the regional park with my children. And we picked up garbage in Sierra Meadows in our neighborhood for Truckee Day. And I think that is it. Fun stuff.
Thank you, Jessica. Councilmember Klobstadt.
All right. Well, I enjoyed a really lovely breakfast for Truckee River Watershed Council for River with Mayor Tierman and Councilmember Pallavi, and Jeff was there as well. I love that program, and I love all that they do, so that was really fun. I enjoyed being Donner Lake champion again this year for Truckee Cleanup Day with my daughter Sid. It is our thing to do together. She came home from college just to do that with me for the weekend. And we had almost 30 volunteers report to our station and got nearly every single street covered in our Donner Lake area. So it was really wonderful. In years past, we've had 10, 15, range, so almost double. It was great. I completed my ethics training. That was also really fantastic. And I attended my second Transit Center Relocation Study meeting where we reviewed 15 possible sites for the Transit Center to be either relocated to or evolved into, and narrowed it down to 5 or 6 strong candidates that we'll be looking into a little more closely. And then I attended the second Climate Vulnerability Task Force meeting that's going to involve creating some focused groups here on June 25th, right? Something like that.
Vice Mayor Goodwin. Thank you, Anna.
Well, to start off, I thought tonight's meeting was run very well. I think the times on the agenda continue to be helpful to set expectations, so thank you for that. I'll just clarify that I am planning on doing a public sort of post about my announcement tomorrow morning, so stay tuned. You'll have something to look at and read if folks want to share. In terms of reports, so last Wednesday, we're going back to the 29th, along with Dave Pallavi, I helped cut the ribbon for the Food Hub's new location out by the airport. For those of you who don't know, they have a sort of farm stand with vegetables, pastries, kind of locally made pasta, etc., as well as their huge walk-in fridge and freezer to help with their local food distribution efforts. Attended the California Democratic Party convention in San Francisco, which was fascinating. Made it back in time to attend the Best of Tahoe Chefs and learn about the incredible support services that fundraiser supports at the Cancer Center for the wraparound services for both cancer patients and their supporters. And our former town manager, Tony Lashbrook, was one of the people featured in the video, just talking really glowingly about how well that whole program works. And this past Sunday, I was thrilled to be part of the Truckee Roundhouse Maker Show, the 5th annual, which was a lively and really, it's always a well-run affair, but this time the weather also cooperated, which is a double bonus. So.
Thank you, Morgan. Great reports tonight. For me, I'm going to go back. I actually failed to mention an Eagle Scout ceremony that I attended on May 10th, and this was for a young man here in Truckee. It was at the Truckee Rec Center, and actually presented a proclamation for that achievement. So that was earlier in May. As Anna mentioned, the Truckee River Watershed Council breakfast, a terrific event. Had a nice table, so really enjoyed that, and enjoyed hearing about the incredible progress that the Rivershed Council continues to make in our area, in Truckee and beyond. May 31, since I was out of town for the actual Truckee Day, which was June 1, I was here on May 31 to join the town staff for the cleanup, town hall cleanup, cooperating with the Truckee Tahoe Airport District and the Truckee Sanitation District. The three agencies got together and cleaned up Soaring Way, Yerger Drive, Airport Road. Fun event, culminating with wonderful pizza lunch. And then on June 5th, attended the Rayleigh's groundbreaking ceremony right out here on Soaring Way. And then this past Saturday, participated in the Truckee Dirt Fondo, which was a on-road, off-road bike race that started at 8 a.m. and was really honored to present the key to the town of Truckee to a world-class cyclist individual named Levi Leipheimer, who was a three-time winner of the Tour of California, stage winner at the Tour de France, and Vuelta de España, and won the Tour of Utah, the Tour of Switzerland. Pretty amazing athlete. He's now retired, but it was such an honor to present that to him. He now lives in our area, and a terrific individual, both on the bike and off the bike, doing a lot for the community in terms of raising money for disadvantaged youth, which is what this event actually did, participated and raised a lot of money. 600 riders, the Truckee Chamber sponsored, the airport district provided the location, the hosting, and I think this event's going to grow over time, and it was an honor to actually lead the race out with Levi Leipheimer on the bike. So that was it was quite the event. I never would have imagined that. So anyway, that's my report, and I think with that we'll reconvene, or we'll adjourn and then reconvene on June 25.
No, you're in Ed.
No?
Redevelopment Successor Agency is going to meet. Right now.
Yes, you are right. We do have that. Okay, so we will close out the regular council meeting right now, and then we will at this point open up our redevelopment agency hearing. Correct?
Redevelopment Successor Agency, yes.
Okay. Bear with me for just a second. Okay, so we will call the Redevelopment Successor Agency meeting to order. We don't need a roll call, right? Okay. All right. So we have a couple of items on the consent calendar: minutes of January 8, 2019, and then the fiscal year 2019-20 annual operating budget for the Truckee Redevelopment Successor Agency. Any member of council care to pull an item? Member of staff? Public, there is no longer public here, so no public comment. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, we are moving to approve the minute or the consent calendar, right? We don't
Correct.
have to do them individually.
Right.
Move to approve the consent calendar.
Yes.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Thank you. With that, we will close out and reconvene on June 25.